dialed in to Byron Velvick's Fish Tales. Real talk, real tactics, and the stories that make it all worthwhile. Byron Velvick's Fish Tales is brought to you by Livingston Lures, Trika Fishing, Mercury Outboards, and Camus Boats. Without further ado, here's Byron.
Okay, I'm ready, bro. Stop laughing at me. Fish Tales, Byron Velvick, and man, I love doing Fish Tales. I like having my friends on the show. This is really cool because at this point right now, I get to have one of my longest, dearest, best brother friends on the show. My former roommate on the BASS Elite Trail, along with John Murray, my dearest friend from back in the day of lots of dinners and drinking wine and cleaning dishes for this guy. He's a great cook. Me and John Murray were a great cleanup crew after the kitchen was a hot mess from Skeet cooking, but man, he made some great meals. And so I'm on Fish Tales, and today I have the honor of being joined by the newly retired Skeet Reese. There he is. I don't have the applause going, but there's the Skeet Reese thing. Yeah.
I just started to think about that. Like, but didn't I tile the Vegas house too?
Dude, you tiled the Vegas house.
How
yes,
many?
you did.
So you're I think you and John, you would be the only other anglers in the world that I know of that have had their houses tiled by Skeet Reese.
Your house, you tiled the house. You tiled the Boulder City Money House, Skeet. That's a hell of a way to start,
dude. That's going back right there.
There's
Holy
the
shit.
pinball machine that was there. We moved that Fish Tales.
Oh my gosh.
This podcast is named Fish Tales because of that pinball machine that we moved. You know, I was talking to Ken Duke about Aaron Martin spent hours on that pinball machine. Our dear friend Aaron, those high scores, I wish I would have never unplugged it or could have kept it, but Aaron had a ton of the high scores on that machine. When we
you erased it because he beat all your scores. That's why.
Dude, we would. Oh, Aaron got mad Aaron would come back to the house and see somebody else had beaten Aaron's high score on most boat kills, most jet skiers killed. But that Fish Tales pinball machine that Donna Casase sent over to the Money House, the lake house,
that's crazy.
You tiled the house, dude. You played that pinball machine, boo.
I did. That's how you saw Donna. I'm like, wow, that is going back. Like that's like the original marketing.
Donna Casase, everybody watching, was our agent. Me and Skeet, Robert Lee, me, who else? Oh, who was on it? Skeet, John Murray. John Murray, Skeet. So Donna Casase was an agent, and she was a Las Vegas powerhouse in the gaming world. And what she was going to do was she was going to take Robert Lee, me, Skeet, Murray, and sell us as a group to all the non-endemic sponsors. Do you remember those days?
I do remember those days. We didn't make any money, but it was fun.
Never happened. I got a pinball machine. She sent me a pinball machine. When I won my second U.S. Open, that was the congratulation present for the second U.S. Open win. Check's back there somewhere too. It's the trophy room now. This is the spare bedroom right next to Camber's room. I dropped her off at school. I got to pick her up from school during the day. I get to shoot the shit with my friends and talk to my boy Skeet today.
Who would have thought though? Yeah, like it still blows my mind because just hearing you say my daughter. So the thought of you being a dad.
Talking about you got daughters.
So I got two daughters, but I was more responsible, I think, growing up. And so the thought if you told us 20 years ago Byron's gonna be a dad, we'd be like, hell no.
Hey, Skeet. We talked about this before. God has a sense of humor because you and I did not get sons. God has a sense of humor because you and I God's laughing because once upon a time we were not the kind of guys you'd want to put daughters. Give us some boys, you know. Let us carry that torch of masculinity and all the stuff but no, God laughed at us and said He gave you two daughters. He gave me a daughter. They're all stunningly beautiful, and you and I are just beating the boys off them. So you feel my pain and I feel your pain, buddy.
I do. That goes back to we're payback is biatch.
Okay.
So
hey, you know what the cool thing is, Skeet, is I'm taping this show, so I'm gonna put right here is where I'm putting the shirt that says, "Yes, I have a beautiful daughter. I also have a gun, a shovel, and an alibi." It's a classic shirt, and it's like it speaks to what you've been through. It speaks to what I'm going through because Camber is a freshman in high school now.
Yeah, so that's how you. Yeah, you're just getting your toes dipped into it right now. Like, you're not even entrenched into that side of it yet. So
pray Pray for me, Skeet.
Yeah. So
Give me some advice. Give me some
I've got
advice since you had two girls that walk through
you
it.
just ride the wave, dude. That's all you can. Just put your back foot back, put the bow up, and just go and ride it, because there's nothing you can do or say. You just be there to love on them, and when they cry, you're a shoulder for them to cry on, and because
So I gotta ask.
once you start telling them what to do, and you're projecting and all this and that, and you're being, the prick of a dad that we all want to be, then they're like, I don't want to tell dad anymore. But
Earl Bentz warned me that there's going to come a point where she's going to really, you're going to be a boy and she's mad at all boys and you're one of them. Like there's that point where hormonally they're not your best friend for a while. They come back around, but Earl warned me because, Earl's had his beautiful daughters, but Earl's like, be ready for her to become, dad, you just don't get it. You're not a woman. You're not a girl. Don't talk to me about this. Can you relate to that? Can you relate to
oh
that for
God,
me?
yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because I got Courtney's 19, Leah's 22.
Have they come back around? Or are they still, dad, you don't know what the hell you're talking about?
Well, that's depends on what week it is or what day it is. So, yeah, there's transitions. There's definitely transitions. We got Leah's getting ready to move to Australia for a while, so we'll see.
Nice.
And then, Courtney's, second year of college and taking up welding. And so, but yeah, we're dealing with the aftermath of a breakup last night.
No way. Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Last night? How long were they dating?
2 years. So, oh,
Dude.
yeah. So it's,
dude, and she's there at the house right now?
yeah. So,
oh, aren't you glad you're off the tour so you get to be home for the break? That could have been all Kimmy.
Find out.
Oh, Kimmy. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Put her on the phone. Let me talk to her for a second. But
Kim's so she's the saint of the house. So yeah, she's the one that keeps it all together. So
poor Camber doesn't have any. But I have to wear both hats. By the way, I appreciate the Mother's Day cards and the Mother's Day wishes that you and everybody else send out. It's like I get all the Mother's Day cards, wishes, and things. They're like, dude, you're wearing both the hats. You got the Mother's Day card coming. You got the Mother's Day wishes.
I wanted to ask, but then I'm like, I don't know if I should talk about that during this podcast. So I was like,
I'm just wearing both hats and being the guy.
Just wear both hats.
You're doing a great
job, B. You're doing a great job, B.
I appreciate the Mother's Day sentiments. Okay,
I'll tell you that. You got hair like moms. You've got.
I can still wear a hyzer. I can still sport the hyzer with the old Mercury hyzer, but
how long is the ponytail, like the back?
No, I got a little mullet going.
Wait, bro, pull the visor back off. Ooh, it's
fading.
It's getting higher, isn't it?
That's
why the hairline is getting further back there, bro.
Dude, when you cut these now, you got to cut them higher. You got to cut them higher than you used to because you got to cover. You got to cover more of that receding hairline. Yes, I can still move it forward. I gotta do. I'm starting to do some front flip going on here now. Yeah, it's scary times. Yeah, I'm hanging on to whatever hair I have left before I shave it all off. But thank God for visors.
It's just hair.
Visors. Yeah, dude, you're retired. Let's talk about it. Skeet. I mean, Ken Brown was filling me in. I saw the really pouty faced picture, which I'm going to put in the show, of you on the deck of the boat, looking like you're like someone just stole your animal crackers from school in kindergarten. You had this little boy pout on your face with your arms crossed. And dude, retirement. How's it feel? What's going on, buddy?
First time I've talked to you. Was that from the last tournament?
Yeah, you were up there, and Ken Brown sent me a picture because he was there with you, and it was you standing on the deck of your boat before you idled away for the last day of the competition in New York, I believe, or Michigan or New York, wherever you guys were.
We're Michigan, yeah, Saginaw Bay. Yeah, dude, that was a powerful event, emotional event for me. But
dude, what happened? And again, I don't follow the sport now because it's too painful. But the very end of the day, the last day, you caught a fish at the last minute or something like that. Pretty cool thing.
I caught a fish on my very last cast of my tour career. Very last cast. Cast. I caught a fish. I had 15, 20 seconds to get it in. That fish moved me from 32nd place to I think 29th place. I got a check. My only check of the season on the tour,
Isn't that a
And
Cinderella story to catch the
it was
last?
like how I could, I mean, yeah, just how, so yeah, it was a really emotional moment. I'm like, oh my God, because I'm fishing my ass off because even though I know it means nothing in my career to, what happened that week, but the competitor in me is like, no, I mean, I want to finish top 30. I want to get a paycheck. I want to prove to myself that I could still, you can go catch the shit out of them. And I caught the shit out of them that last day because I started, I think I was in 56th place after the first day. And so I had a huge mountain to climb and I went and changed up, climbed that mountain and got to the peak and on the last cast. And it was freaking cool as shit. So yeah, that's why
Dude,
like all
I
this
wanted to
emotion
hear.
came out of me. Like I literally just started sobbing. Like, oh my gosh, it's like how here's my very last cast of my tour career and I catch one and to get a check and just the emotional side of it was freaking nuts. Yeah. So I just started sobbing and bawling and
30 seconds.
last cast of the day. Oh, is it gonna be enough?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lines out. End around. £2, 5 ounces. Let me read the score tracker. Here, keep the phone.
Dude. And see, this is why I wanted to do this today here, because this is a podcast. I could have called you right after the tournament when I heard about it, but I'm like, I want this to be one of those times where, what happened. I'll tell you the history of what this all happened was Rick Klung was sharing a houseboat with me for the US Open. My buddy Brad Davis came and he was just listening to me and Rick Klung tell stories. Ken Duke's been talking about podcasts, all that stuff, but they're like, you need to just get with your friends and tell stories and catch up with each other and not call you, me, and Murray, just have a phone call. But let me hear this from you where people can watch it on YouTube and they can jump on all the different forums on podcasts. So I love the fact that everything we're going to talk about today, I haven't spoken with you about what happened that day and what were you feeling that day that you retired?
most
And
friends actually call more often and stay caught up with shit. So
well, phone works two ways. It's hard to reach you when you're always in Puerto Vallarta. Now, and you know this. I'm calling you out, buddy. You are not. You're about as easy to reach as the
I was the
president.
first to give you shit, so it's good. I
You
win.
did. You win by giving me shit first. But everybody knows Skeet Reese is not an easy guy to reach. And I wish I could have been there for that retirement, but Cameron was starting school, and I told Kimmy, I said, "Man, I can't be there in Michigan for that thing you guys had, but you had a bunch of friends there." And again, I haven't heard anything, so tell me what all
Yeah, so
transpired
it was
that week.
cool. So I wanted to kind of do something that week, just because I knew there's other anglers. It was gonna be their last tour event. I knew it was gonna be my last tour event, but I didn't put anything together. So obviously, Kim had secretly put this retirement dinner party together,
Right.
and there was two. I had two clues that week. So on the way to Michigan for the last event, Kim and I, we stopped at and we stayed with Kevin and Sherry Van Dam for a night, and we went out in the evening in their pontoon boat. Brent Ayler was there, and so we went out on the pontoon boat, got some pizzas and beverages, and cruised around the pontoon boat. Went back to their house and hung out that night, and then I think it was I don't know if it was Kevin or Sherry that said, "Oh, we'll see you next week,"
Whoa.
and I'm like,
Was
"Okay,
Kimmy
well
there?
that was
Did Kimmy?
yeah,"
Did
but
Kimmy
I don't
go?
think she heard it. I don't think she heard it, so I was like, "Why? Okay, whatever." I thought it was weird, and then where was it was during the I think the first day of the tournament or something like that I don't know, Casey Ashley. Oh, it was the night of registration. We had our tournament briefing and all that, and they did a big Skeet Reese presentation, and Kathy Fennell got up there and spoke in Major League Fishing, and they did a big video, tributing my career and all that. Um, and then towards the end, Casey Ashley comes up and he goes, "I'll see you Friday." And I'm like,
Sorry,
"What's
are you
going on
putting the
Friday?
pieces together?
What are we doing
Are-
Friday?" So I was like,
No,
"Okay."
wait, was did Kimmy hear that one too, or Kimmy didn't know either one of the cats got out of the
Yeah, I
bag?
don't think, no, Kim didn't know about that. So
Either
I was
one.
like,
So
all
she had
right.
no
So I'm
idea.
thinking there's something going on. I don't know what. And so it wound up being, I said, you're up to something. She just smiles. And then, so Friday night after with that second day of competition or whatever it was. And so we go to the DoubleTree Hotel and she's like, just bring your stuff. You're going to be staying the night. Cool. And I walk in. As I'm walking in outside the hotel, I can see through a glass window. There's a guy named Mike Scaglione. He lives near me, and he helps broker some of my product. And I see him walking in the lobby of the hotel. I'm like, what the hell is he doing here? And I'm like, shit,
Oh,
something's going on. So then we
oh,
go inside and we go into the tournament briefing. Oh, that was tournament briefing. That's what it was. And then, um, so I'm up front, I'm talking to Kathy, and all of a sudden I turn around and there's like a whole group of my family and friends. A lot of people from the West Coast. They're all standing in the room behind me before the tournament briefing starts. So I'm like, oh shit. So
oh,
then, so
wow.
that was really, my aunts and uncles and friends from all over, people have flown in. And so then that
And
was,
wait, so how did they?
that
So
was,
you were standing there talking to Kathy, and all of a sudden they just all walked in. Is that where the surprise
well,
came?
they were actually, when I was facing Kathy and they all came in behind in a banquet room behind me and I didn't know it. And I turn around and look back in the banquet room where the tournament briefing is. And, there's whatever, 20, 30 people just standing right behind me that I had no idea were there.
Oh,
And so I was like,
damn.
oh, so that was cool. Then they did the presentation that night. And then Friday night, the Kim had a nice party for us, for me in at the
Oh,
hotel in the back, and had it catered. So Kevin and Sherry showed up, and some of my old sponsors for Miles and Alicia from Wiley X, and there was Travis and Lisa from General Tire. Now he's at Goodyear. They were there. Friends, family. It was freaking cool. So she
you
invited
must have
like all
been.
the camera
You
guys.
you had to cry. I bet you cried every now and then. I bet there was a tear or two. There had to
Oh,
be a
every time
couple
I spoke,
emotions.
I cried. Yeah, every time I spoke, I cried. I'm like,
You are so.
fuck, can I
I
not
love.
like?
I love your emotion,
You want to
bro.
say something compelling, or I'm thinking, okay, I want to say something that's meaningful, and all of a sudden it's just like, it's like, oh my gosh,
I
so
love it.
yeah,
Dude, I'm so sorry I
yeah,
missed it.
that's
I was invited and I was like, man, I just don't have anybody that's going to help me get camera through the beginning of high school. If it wasn't that she was starting high school, I would have so been there. But that was right on top of this crazy world here in South Texas for me. But I missed you, man, and I was missed being a part of it. But I Kent filled me in on a lot of what happened, and I'm happy for you, man. Now it's Reese fishing. I guess you're running with it hard.
I am running hard. Yeah, retire. There's no retirement right now. Like, oh my gosh. I'm still. The very cool part is that so far all my partners, sponsors that I've been with for all these years want me on board still. So, there's still a commitment there to whether it's from appearances, social media, whatever it is we're doing. That so I still
Podcasts,
have that
podcasts. Yep, right here.
podcast. So everybody's telling me I need to do a podcast. So I'm like. I don't have I don't have the time to do this right now. I don't know how you do it. Well, I know how you do it because you're a stay-at-home dad, so that's good for you.
Right.
Um,
I wouldn't be able to do it if I did what you're doing.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna be working with Bass Pro Shops and Ranger and Mercury and Lowrance and Grundens, Lucky Craft. So all that's continue to stay on board. But then the launch of Reese Fishing. So I'm like, we're getting ready to go full steam ahead in 2026 with retail programs and so get the brand out there at a little bit quicker pace and let the people experience the product. And we're putting on a big bass tournament on Clear Lake next year, which is going to be, you should come out and fish it because it's going to be fun as shit.
When?
June, yeah, it's going to be June 27th, 28th on Clear Lake, the #1 rated bass lake in the country. I'm doing a big bass derby.
Dude, I'll come
So,
out. I can do that next because Cameron's out
there's
of
going to
school in
be
June.
a
I can come out. Yeah, we could
fully
do
rigged
that.
Ranger for first place. Hourly prizes. So yeah, there's there's going to be a lot of money up for grabs. We're going to have dinners. We're going to have a big party Saturday night of the event. Friday night we'll also have a hospitality event. So we're going to make it a really fun event. It's what's cool about it is like, I mean, this is like coming back to my grassroots, Northern California.
Sure.
And now like it's given me, Clear Lake has given me so much. I mean, that's where I learned how to really be the competitor that I am. So now I'm coming back full circle, and now I'm being able to give back to the West Coast and
Wow.
put on this event that people, so
dude, I need to come. I'm going to bring
friends,
Camber. I'm going to tell you right now, Skeet, I'm going to come and I'm going to bring Camber because I was just, I was doing Scott Martin podcast a little while, and we did a show with him. And I've said, just Kent Brown knows this. Everybody's heard this. I want my ashes spread Byron's corner. Like that's where I want my ashes spread when I pass. That's how special Clear Lake is to me, that corner where I won both those tournaments and set that record and all that stuff, as you know, that's Byron's corner. And if I'm going to be cremated, and I think my daughter, she knows this, she's heard me say it, but I think it would be good in June. I'm not hoping to die anytime soon, but Camber doesn't even know what Clear Lake is.
You better not, shit.
yeah, but she hasn't experienced anything like that. So I think we need to put in our calendar. I need to bring my daughter out. We need to come to Clear Lake in June and have her see that place that is so special to me and to you, especially you, because hell, you were the Ukiah Flash. Remember? I mean, you were known. Your nickname was the guy that was the Northern California guru.
Well, that's that's where I cut my teeth tournament fishing. It's my first Redman tournament win, and won the team championship there with my brother. So like that's really,
was that your
that's
first tournament? Was your first
Delta.
tournament on Clear Lake? Is that where you fished your first tournament?
Well, I mean, yeah, it depends on whether if you look at my very first club tournament ever, no, I was on Lake Berryessa for my very first club tournament when I was 14.
Right next door to Clear Lake, like right next door. Yeah.
Yeah, Lake Berryessa is right next to Clear Lake. So, but my very first win of any kind, I won my first club tournament at Clear Lake. I won my first team event on Clear Lake. I won my first Redman tournament with BFLs now on Clear Lake. So yeah, that's where, and it's my favorite lake in the country. I've got a place there, so that's where I'm going. When we're done, when I'm done with this podcast, I'm going to go halibut fishing, and then I'm going to Clear Lake.
Are you really?
So
wow.
Yeah.
God.
So, but but this, like, Kim and I are super excited that so it's called the Skeet Reese Big Bass Battle presented by Reese Fishing. So it's a great way for me to expose the brand to I think what we're going to have is a very large crowd. I mean, I'm hoping it'll be the largest tournament in the Western United States.
Whoa! Oh man,
if you look at the big bass tournaments, that are run across the country, they're the largest events. Period. They're getting 800 to 1,200 entries per event.
Yep.
And so my baseline, I'm trying to get 400 entries, so 200 boats or however you want to look at it, because it's individual entries. But I think there's a good possibility we could get 600-700 entries, 700-800 entries for
so I can come out there. Camber and I can fish it, right? Like I can sign Camber up, and her and I can fish the tournament together. So I can say, Camber, we're fishing a tournament at Clear Lake, and it's a fun tournament because I fished a couple of big bass tournaments with her here in Texas. And I told her, hey, we're, you're in this as much as I am, and they have a kids division and all this other stuff. And so
she can make one cast and win $75K. You make one cast, win $75K. There's hourly prizes, $1,000 big fish every hour.
Oh my God. I think I'm definitely doing it. And it's at the end of June. I'm doing it. I'm absolutely coming, dude.
June 20th. Yeah. June 27th, 28th. So yeah, I'm working, I just sent a proposal to the city, and it is. So we're excited too. It's like, it started out as like, hey, let's just put on a little team event or something like that up at Clear Lake. And then I'm like, you know what? No, big bass format is like the most successful, popular thing in the country, period. I'm like, wow, we're doing a big bass. And then what scale? So cool part is I got Billy Egan from One Bass is going to come up with his trailer. So he's going to help the weigh-in. So I'll be using the one bass, scales, and Billy will be helping me with that. But then we're going to use Major League Fishing score tracker system. So everybody will be all around the world can follow the score tracker on what all the big fish are every hour.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, so I turned it into what I thought was this, and now it's like we are like full blown. We got Bass Pro Shops is behind it, and Ranger, and so
I'm gonna call Ken, see if Cameron and I can stay at the house. The house that we always stay at, the house on the water there. What's his name's house? Who owns that house? I can't remember his name. You know what I'm talking about.
Why you yeah, I know exactly, because you bought a boat from me. And now you're
what's
his name? Put me on the spot like that, you dick.
I can't remember either. It's like, it's Kent Brown. You're
killing me right now.
Wally,
that's it.
Wally's house.
It is Wally. Yeah.
Dude, thank you, Wally, by the way, if you're watching this podcast. Skeet, I love you. It's just that we're both old. We can't remember anything. Dude, let's go back to tournament fishing. You and I are fishing tournaments as kids. We are fishing as kids together and competing with each other all over the Western United States. I still remember the days when literally it was, I'm not going to even paraphrase it. Just talk about the early days, working at the tackle store, fishing out of the Lund, tell everybody what I vaguely remember, which is the early days for Skeet Reese, because I love the stories.
Well, yeah, I mean, it wasn't a Lund, but I mean, gosh, it was my very first boat deal I ever got. So my very first boat, I bought a Skeeter 175 Starfire back. That was my very first boat ever. I bought it when I was 18. I bought a boat. I managed to get it financed. Got my brother John to co-sign for me. I didn't own a truck, but I bought a boat. So I used my dad's 61 Ford to pull it for a little while. And,
no, you did not.
I mean, that was my very first. But I totaled that boat. I did. I had a boat before a truck, so that was my priorities. But I totaled it. I mean, I had the whole side gunnel for like an 8-foot section of the side just popped out. You can see like all the way into the boat from the side.
Do you know? Wait, time out. I got to tell you something. My very first boat was a Skeeter Starfire. I bought it from Jay Yellis, and it delaminated, and the whole side popped out. I took it to Catalina for spring break. I took the Skeeter Starfire 175 to Catalina to go cruise around and look at all the girls in the boats and all that with my two buddies. And we came back across the channel in the afternoon. Dude, we came back across the channel in the afternoon when the waves are blowing, and my Skeeter 175 Starfire, just what you said, it was delaminated. It looked like Gilligan's Island, right? It had a hole down the side where you could see in it. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
I've never shared this before.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Remember Gilligan's Island, the SS Minnow, and it showed that big hole on the side of the SS Minnow on Gilligan's Island? That's what my Skeeter started.
That was my boat.
No way. I never knew this about you till now. That was my boat, and I delaminated it.
It was crazy. So you're talking about driving out to Catalina. I took mine out of Petaluma. I went out the gate, the Golden Gate Bridge, underneath the Golden Gate Bridge, and going out to the potato patch. I was going to go out salmon fish. I was by myself, and I came back in. I'm like jumping these big giant swells underneath the Golden Gate Bridge, and then I'm going back in. I mean, that's what I did with the boat. And here's a story. So this was the stupidest day ever. But so I go out. I'm out in the ocean underneath the Golden Gate Bridge in my bass boat. I'm coming back in. I'm right in front of the park in San Francisco, and I'm hot rodding around, having a great time. And I go to turn to come back. I'm like, hey, I'm heading back in. I turn the boat to go towards Alcatraz, and also it was like, oh shit, my steering lock was broken. I couldn't turn left.
No,
I'm like, oh no, I could turn right, but I could only go back so far left. So I had to do 360s. For 15 miles back to the boat ramp. I point the boat this direction and go, and I do a 360 and point it back over here. So I'm going around Alcatraz doing donuts, 360s. There's 1,000 boats out in the bay that day. Yeah, I had one steering cable broken at that time, and oh my gosh, that's so handsome.
Dude.
It's because we were dumbasses, didn't know how to drive boats back then. That's why we totaled them. But
did you delaminate it on that trip?
Obviously there was a defect.
Did yours delaminate on that?
No, I think that
Because
no,
mine,
it's actually up at Lake Sonoma.
yeah, we were coming back. Catalina, first thing in the morning, you blow over there, it's flat. You make it there in 20 minutes, 22 miles across the sea. And then on a Skeeter Starfire with a 150 Mercury on the back. We're there in 20 minutes. We're driving all around Catalina having fun. My two buddies are drinking, Mike Fowler and his brother. We start driving back and it's boom, 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 like you're talking about. And the rub rail starts popping off. And we're right in the middle of the channel, the Catalina channel. And we come off pad. I go, what's going on? He goes, the rub rail. And I look in the back and I see the back of the boat sinking. Like I hear the motor going blah, 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 blah. We have no life jackets. We have no ship to shore radio. We have no flare gun. We're in the middle of the Catalina Channel. It's spring break Easter. The motor is sinking. And I go, oh my gosh. And Mike looks over the side. He goes, dude, there's a giant hole in the boat. The hole you're familiar with, that big delamination hole. And I go, what? And he goes, we're sinking. And Skeet, I look back and I see the motor going down. So I gun it. And water, you know the two back battery compartments, they open up and all the water rushes out because I get back on pad. So now I'm on pad. He looks over while we're on pad. The rub rail's coming off, and he sees that the hole is elevated above the water as long as you stay on pad. But when you come off pad, you're going to sink. So I have to stay on pad all the way back to Huntington Harbor. And when you get there, you got to shut down and idle all the way from the jetties all the way back to where the houses, there's $1 million houses, multi-million-dollar houses and yachts. No, dude, we can't shut down. Like, we got to keep on going. So I stay on pad. I run through the military place where after 9/11, they would have shot you for doing this, but it's before 9/11. I run right through the military place on pad like I'm a terrorist, but thank God before 9/11, they weren't hypersensitive to this. I run over and we beach the boat right there at the launch ramp, and it sinks at the launch ramp because the park guys, the rangers, come running over and they go, get them out of the boat. They go, we've had all kinds of complaints about these kids in a Skeeter Starfire running through Huntington Harbor on pad. It's 5 miles an hour. But I'm like, sir, we have to run on pad. Right. The boat's sinking. So they pulled us away. They gave us a sobriety test, and the boat literally sunk right there at the launch ramp. Sunk. The Skeeter sunk as it was sitting there waiting to get put on the trailer. And we lost the boat. Dude, I can't believe you have a Skeeter Starfire story like that. Like you lived that. So then you got into a real boat.
Lived that. So that's where it started. And then my next boat, I got sponsored by California Custom Marine, Ron Cruz.
Yeah.
And he put me in a nitro back then. And I got fish one season out of it, and then it got repoed because I didn't make any payments on it. So
was I supposed to say? Hey,
I remember fishing. I finished the tournament.
Okay, so you decided it was a free boat. You thought Ron gave you a boat. You didn't realize there were payments attached to it.
Yeah, it's like, I got to pay for this thing? Well, I got to pay for it? No, I thought you just let me use this thing.
You don't know who I'm going to be someday. Someday I'm going to be somebody that's going to get a free boat. You just got to give me the free boat now. Even though I'm nobody, Skeet Reese, I deserve a free boat. And here comes the repo man.
Well, it wasn't free. It got repoed. So that was my second boat. And then I ran I ran a cat for a year.
Bass cat?
And then I wound up, I had, I ran Bass Cat 1 year. And then I went into a Fisher aluminum. So that was that was my first pro win though, was out of, that Fisher aluminum boat on the California Delta. And, that was a 19-foot aluminum. We had a blueprint at the bottom of that thing to, be super smooth. I have a 150. I had a 150 on it. And
did you have that boat?
It was a piece of junk, but it's,
When you drew, we've heard the story a million times on all those shows and all that stuff, but when you drew John Murray the first time, did you have a boat or did you not have a boat? When you drew John Murray the first time you walked up,
I did not have a boat. So, whatever. Yeah, I think back then I was in between boats. I had no boat back then. So I was a non-boater when I fished with John down on Lake Havasu.
17, 18, 16, something like that. Why are you laughing?
Yeah, I think I was 18, yeah. And
I love John telling the
yeah,
story
just
about a
because I'll
kid that
never
says,
have.
"I've never been beat out of no one's ever beat me." And you're like, "Oh, dude, you ran into John Murray when John Murray was a beast." And you walked down there and you said, I
And
mean, John was the juice of all the juice. And here comes Skeet Reese at 16, 17 saying,
100%, like the
"I just
OG
want you
of
to
the
know
West.
I've never been beat out of the boat." And John goes, "Well, today's your day, boy." I love it,
Yeah, he
dude.
did. He schooled me. He schooled me so bad that day.
You had never
Oh
run
no, but
into
I know
somebody
that was
like
such a
that.
learning experience. I mean, it's like, all right, here's that was
Yeah.
I got schooled. I'll still never forget that bite that day, because I literally had the bites that day
Did you?
to do well. I mean, I probably could have beat John that day, but that was the first time I ever experienced a bite where you couldn't like drop the rod tip and then snap a hook set.
What were you guys
It's
explain
like
explain the
I'd
bite
lift
to me?
up
Like
because there's
yeah, I've never heard it. I've
so
never
we
heard
were
about the
back in the
day.
marina on Havasu, and it's a winter. I think it was January, a wintertime bite. So we're fishing spider jigs, and there's cables and stuff coming down, and back in the marina, so it's all protected. And I'm in the back of the boat, and I'm like, I know that's a fish, and I just, then I just like I drop my rod tip, reel down, nothing. I'm like, what the hell? And then, dude, I don't know how many times. I mean, I'm feeling this. I'm like, I know they're fish, but it feels like that dead weed or a leaf or something on, but it's not. There's nothing down there rather than a fish or a cable. And all of a sudden, I watch John. John's like he's watching me, and then I watch him, and he's like he lifts up and he just starts reeling and leaning back, and here comes a fish. I'm
Okay.
like, oh, that's a lame hook set. This is dumbass. He's like, he didn't even set the hook. He's like, dude, you're supposed to come out of your shoes when you set the hook. And he's just like, there's one.
He just pins
And
him.
so
He's
and then
just
I'm
pinning him.
back there, and finally, like, whatever. I think he had 3 or 4 in the boat, and I still hadn't put one in the boat. And I'm like, I gotta try this shit. So next time I'm like, there's some dude. I'm like, and I think I don't know if I caught 1 or 3 that day. I forget what it was, but I'm
But
like,
you learned from
that's a friend. I'm
John
like,
schooled you with the
nope.
pressure bite.
He schooled me with the pressure hook set. Yeah, because it's like one of those things where when you lift them, they stay on it as long as there's pressure on them. But as soon as you took the pressure off, then they spit it.
Right.
So that's like, because I'm used to. I'm still to this day. I mean, they bite, man. I drop that rod tip, but that was he schooled me that day,
Was there
and
ever a
then look at
time
that, all these years later.
all these years later, we're the 3 best of friends. We ended up becoming roommates. We ended up staying on tour together and sharing a house together. And I mean, it's crazy that our life went full circle all the way back to that. Was there ever a time that you didn't? I'm going to tell you when I was fishing up until about beginning of college, and then I stopped for a while. Like I just didn't fish, through my college days. And my buddy said I discovered women, girls. I saw girls, and girls were like, girl, fishing was not cool. There was nothing about fishing that was cool. And I think that I was anti-fishing for a while. I just didn't fish, and then I got back
We got
into
a
it
lot of
after
girl
college.
stories.
Well, we don't have telling girl stories. We'll just tell fishing stories. But did you ever quit fishing for a while? Did you ever take a break from it, Ski?
Well, I was forced to. Yeah, because when I was early 20s, I thought I was good enough to be a professional bass angler. And so at that time, I was working in the grocery stores, working night crew, stocking shelves. And, I think I was a night crew manager. And I quit my job to go fish full time because I thought I was good enough. And I learned in a short amount of time that it wasn't, because I want to be I lost everything. I mean, I was homeless. I lived in the back of my truck. So I lost the boat. So I was broke, and I had no means
Wow.
to go fish. So
So you
I didn't
had
have
to
a
go
boat to
back
go
to
fish. So I had to go back to, that's when I had friends of mine, Paul Vianella and John Kidder, took me under the wing, brought me into their tile trade and taught me a trade. So I became a tile setter. And So I probably had like a 2-year window in there where I kind of had to take a break because I didn't have a boat and I was trying to pay off debt and whatever I owed people from borrowing and begging and just to
Isn't that
live at that point
crazy?
in
I mean,
time.
and I was picking up golf balls and you're laying tile. I mean, you remember my days. I mean, none of us, we didn't have rich parents. Nobody handed it to us.
Hmm.
So you're there laying tile, and everybody knew on tour out west that I'd work my way all the way home picking up golf balls because I had a single mom. She was a school teacher. I had to buy my own boat, just like you did. I broke the Skeeter Starfire. But if it wasn't for picking up golf balls at lakes all the way back home, dude, that paid for my way to keep fishing. Like you with tile, that was a means to an end. I had a wetsuit and a bunch of banana boxes, and you remember my fingernails were always black. My toenails and fingernails were way too black. Like it wasn't real healthy looking because I had the muddiest, dirtiest, and a lot of times I smelt like the bottom of a lake. But golf balling saved my butt for fishing, like
Oh,
tile
you
setting for
smell.
you,
Yeah, I remember that. That was just,
dude. My van
yeah,
smelled
you
so
pull it,
bad.
you pull up in the van and yeah, the van would smell like ass and just from swamp mud and,
It had
um,
5,000 golf balls and banana boxes in the back. But I was going home and I was going to pay my entry fee and my boat gas and my car gas. And they're like, dude, he's golf balling his way back from every tournament just so that I can afford it like you. I mean, our struggle days, dude, were very real. We
what's
had a
sad
goal.
is you can't even go do that anymore. There's like companies that monopolize all that now and can't even do what you did back then. Just go jumping on golf courses and recovering golf balls, man.
Now what they do is they build the lakes so that they're
You were
like
ahead of the curve when it came to that.
yeah, great. Yeah, I was ahead of a curve. Two things, swim baits and golf balls.
Well, that's it. But like I said, yeah, you were way ahead of your time. The marketing or the business side of like you can actually go collect golf balls and people buy them from you. Because I remember hearing about them, like, because I grew up on near a golf course, and we'd go get golf balls and dive around the pond at night and fill up our tube socks full of golf balls
Well,
from the kids, and
the
then we'd
trick,
go catch
Steve, was
crawdads and.
the trick was to have a guy that would buy them by the pound. If you had a guy that would buy them by sheer weight, where you just show up and you throw them in a box and he just looks at them and gives you 20 cents a ball for every single ball, whether it's a range ball or a pearl, a perfect ball or a range ball or a muddy ball or a faded ball. I'd come home to Costa Mesa and I had a guy there. And like I said, 20 cents a ball. And I knew if I leveled off that banana box perfectly, I had exactly 500 balls, or maybe I could count them. It would be 497 or 503, but you were right at about 500 if you took a banana box and you leveled the balls off in the banana box. So you would go get all these banana boxes at the supermarket. You'd pick up all the balls you could at night, and then you would just fill up the banana boxes, take them there, and then he'd weigh them by the pound. So no one ever really counted the balls because there was way too many of them. Because you'd come home with 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 balls in a night but to your point, the golf courses, now they build the ponds where they're like a snow cone and all the balls roll to the middle and we can't reach them anymore. Now they got professional companies that come and take them out of these snow cone type lakes. Back in the day, I would jump in.
They're on full dive equipment and everything's
Totally different.
tanks and
Totally different.
yeah.
But we both, my point is, I guess we both had a lot of struggles because nobody handed us our careers or handed us the money to go do what we needed to do.
No, but but it was the passion. I think that was the passion. And I always look at it as most people are successful at whatever it is. It's, if with any other sport, business, they become passionate about it. And that passion is what pushes you through the tough times because it's not always easy. But if you don't have that love and passion for it, then you kind of give up when it's hard.
Well, you had to like even though you went broke, even though the boat got repossessed, even though you and I didn't have anything, it's like there was no telling us we weren't going to make it as professional fishermen. Like Henry David Thoreau says, build the castle in the sky and the foundation will follow. And really, it's like your castle in the sky was that you were going to be a professional fisherman. Like you put it up there and I put it up there, and then damn it, we'll do whatever it takes to make it happen. Like, we'll.
What's funny?
What?
It's like, I mean, it's not as funny, but knowing wanted to be a professional bass fisherman, I didn't know what the hell it meant.
Right.
I just know that the dude, you catch bass for a living. I don't know how you made money, or my dream came from reading about Rick Clunn when I was 12, and like I don't know what it means, but I know that dude catches fish for a living. That's what I want to do. So how do you don't, there's no map or business plan that says, okay, to be a professional bass fisherman back then, you got to do this, this, and this. You're like, I just want to go jack the shit out of fish and get paid for it. So
Do
that
you
was what I
remember?
was
I
thinking.
remember clearly, and I want to know your moment, and I'll tell you mine. But do you remember the first time, like you went fishing, you had a great tournament, and then oh my God, they gave you a good check at the end of it? Like you literally went, I just got paid for having a blast. Do you remember that first event where you literally went, wow, at the end of a great week or 3 days or 2 days or whatever it was, whatever tournament it was, then somebody handed you a check and you're like, oh my God, I seriously got paid for a really fun time. And I was dialed in.
Well, I think I mean, for me, like my first big win, which was a red man tournament on Clear Lake, I think it was 19, somewhere around there. And I think I got like a 18 or $1,900 check. I was like, whoa. I got the spittoon and everything. It's up in their office. So but yeah, that was like, I mean, I never seen a check that big.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I just won this much money.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. I can remember those 16, 17, 18 years old fishing with Steve Oliver and going to some of those tournaments, Elephant Butte, Lake Havasu, all the different places, Colorado River, all that stuff. And every now and then I'd get those little $800, $1,000, $1,200 check. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like you got to be kidding me. I'm going back to school with $1,200, $1,800 in my pocket. Like this is the coolest thing in the world that I spent the weekend at Elephant Butte and I'm going home with 12 to your point. And I wasn't winning them because they were the pro events, but I'd be signing up as a pro because there was no co-angler. You remember those days, we had to go pro draw.
Yeah.
So you draw a guy and you see what happens. And boy, we had some draws, didn't we?
Well, I mean, it's so different now, the learning curve, but I've always said that back then, that boat on boat draws made you a better angler.
Yeah.
Because it taught you had to be able to know how to position the boat defensively and offensively.
Yeah.
So you had to be able to be a better caster. You had to strategize better because there's a guy either on back deck or by your side trying to catch the same fish.
I don't know if you heard the story, but famously, I was fishing Redmans, and for a while I didn't have a boat, so I pretended like I did. I lied, and I would sit there and I'd draw a guy, and I'd say, "There's my boat right over there," and I'd point to the parking lot where the boats are. I go, "But my boat's not running very good." I go, "So I'll make you a deal." I go, if you let me take your boat and you let me start on my fish, I'll let you take your boat, but we'll take your boat, but let me start on my fish first. And these guys would gladly say, I wasn't flipping a coin because I didn't have a boat to begin with. I'm in the parking lot, but I'm just like, I have my boat over there. It's not running that good, but if you, let's just take your boat, but let me start on my fish. So I'd start on my best stuff doing what I wanted to do. And these guys didn't know that I didn't even own a boat. I was showing up as a no-boater, but nobody knew I was a no-boater because it was pro draw. You remember those days? It's like
I do remember those days.
They thought you had a boat, and if you didn't have a boat, you just lied and said you had a boat. But you're like, I'm going to take my boat.
I never heard you tell me that. I've never heard that one before.
So I would draw guys on the Colorado River. I knew where I wanted to go. I knew what I wanted to fish, and I would literally sit there and have the guys let me use their boats. And later on, they might find out that I showed up without a boat, and I still got to fish my water. Because otherwise, if they didn't,
that's where the Byron reputation started.
What?
Hello, shit. I'm very lying to me.
He was lying about bringing a boat. I made the Redman Regional.
I don't even own a boat. Oh, fucker.
Dude, I had to borrow a boat for the Redman Regional. So Steve Oliver had to take me to the Redman Regionals at Elephant Butte. I didn't even own a boat, and I made it. But I was like, I'm lying my way through it. Now at the regionals, I got to borrow a boat to go to it. So
I remember that one. Was that the one that Jay Riker caught like 1 8-pounder
in Elephant Butte?
Had one bite, caught like.
Was that Elephant Butte? No, this when I went,
so.
Don Doty won it. I think Don Doty won it on buzz baits.
But I think Jay Riker caught one. He had one bite, but he caught an 8-pounder and like made. I don't know. Maybe it's a different one, but
yeah,
I remember like one bass, and the fishing sucked on that one. I remember that one.
It was tough, man. It was tough. So, how does it feel now? Like looking back at your career, are there any things that do you have any regrets? Do you have any things that you wish you would have accomplished, or did you accomplish everything? Is there anything out there that you didn't make that you're like, well, I know you've retired now, The tournaments are all behind you, but is there anything you wish you had done?
Well, I mean, ultimately, I mean, I would look for the, I don't know what you call it, the Grand Slam of, I'd like to have a Red Crest title and a Bass Pro Tour Angler of the Year title. So that would have been stupid, crazy cool.
Yeah.
But what else? I don't know. I mean, it's always the what ifs, I think the one tournament that, there's a few different things. Getting beat by John Cruz by 1 ounce on the Delta was like the most painful tournament I think I've ever had. I wish I had.
Cruz beat you by 1 ounce?
1 ounce on the Delta.
I remember that tournament. I remember John Cruz winning, but I didn't know you were 1 ounce out of that thing.
1 ounce. So I thought it had won. Everybody told me I'd won it. And then he wound up weighing a much bigger bag than he thought. But here's what happened is I put my fish in a dry weigh bag.
No.
So
you didn't wet the weigh bag first?
Did not wet the bag whatsoever. I put my fish into a dry bag.
Oh my gosh. And you lost by 1 ounce.
Yeah. So, and since then, the people that have done it and weighed the difference, it can be a 2 to 3 ounce difference with a wet bag.
Oh my gosh.
But I was in such shock when I heard his weight, because the boat pulled up, I'm in line, it's a drive-through weigh-in, and everybody's like, congratulating me, and it's like, okay, I know I got how much weight, and John's like, oh, he goes, I got like 17 pounds, and then all of a sudden, and then he weighed in right in front of me, and he weighed like 19 or 20 pounds. I'm like, oh shit. Wait a second. He told me he had 17, he had 20. Whoa. And then, I just went into straight panic mode, and I didn't even think. They pulled my boat in front of the stage, and I grabbed my bag, it's laying on my deck. I just grabbed the fish and not thinking like about putting my bag in the live well, getting it wet, putting my fish in there, and going up on stage. So there's a little tip for people that, you can, a dry bag versus the wet bag. Because you think about that sheen of water all the way on the outside of the bag.
Never thought of that.
Coat of water, all the inside of the bag, plus a little bit of, drippings in the corners and
that's a lot.
All you got to trigger the scale to go to the next ounce instead of, so it could be a gram changes that difference of the reading. And because it would have gone to a fish off in that situation. And I had, I was catching a lot of fish, and he had 5 bites that day is all he had. And
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a tough one.
That was a tough one.
So if it wasn't for swim baits, Clear Lake back then, famously, people don't know this, but when I set that record, you got second place in that tournament.
Mm-hmm. Thanks. Yeah.
And that's crazy because if I hadn't gone out with John Broussard, if he hadn't shown me where these hits were getting mauled in that corner by bass, and I had these stupid ocean lures back then. I wish I had one here in the room. I got one out in the living room, but those old bass tricks. But had I have not got turned on to the hitch getting annihilated in that corner of Clear Lake, that was your tournament to win too. You won that tournament, except for a primitive swim bait, really, truly. And people don't realize that. Yeah, I caught 83.5 and I won that tournament by 10 pounds. But with the exception of swim bait fishing, you literally won the tournament. Like we talk about forward facing sonar now, like there's a forward facing sonar tournament going on, then there's a regular tournament going on. Well, back then there was a swim bait tournament going on, but I was the only guy throwing the darn swim bait. And I remember John Murray and Brett Hite come up to me and they're like, dude, are you free swimming that thing? Like, we used to use that to agitate bedfish. Remember that?
Right. That was our bedfish bait back then.
And Murray goes, dude, and Mark Riss, John Murray, Brett Hite, they're like, you're throwing it out there and reeling it back in. I'm like, dude, I am bombing it out there and just reeling it along. And they're running sideways. They're like halibut. They're corkscrewing through the water, Skeet. They don't even run right. They're molded bass tricks, and they're flat, and they're coming in like this. And the bass are mauling them because it's just an 8-inch thing swimming through the water, whether it runs.
They've never even seen one.
Never
before,
seen
so.
one. And that was your tournament to win if it wasn't for swim baits. And I think about that all the time, that legitimately you won that tournament except for swim bait fishing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Is like I never like even that event though I finished second. I mean, I felt like I got beat fair and square. The one I still always like blows my mind is because I finished second to Steve Kennedy there too.
Oh.
And I caught 117 pounds in 4 days and I got beat. And I'm like, how the hell do you catch 100? And because he weighed 123 and I weighed, I think that's what and I had 117.
Yeah.
It was a difference. One day he weighed a 40-pound bag one day and I weighed a 35. So that 5-pound separation. But it was like,
Gee.
how in the hell do you catch 117 pounds in 4 days and get beat?
Dude, I still think about this. How do you 131 pounds at Falcon Lake and I got beat by 2 guys? Paul Elias and Terry Scroggins beat me, and I had 131 pounds for 4 days. And I'm like you, I'm like 131 pounds, and I don't even get first or second place. like to your
That is
point,
nuts.
it's one of these things where you're like, there are times where you just can't believe you're going to get beat with the weight that you catch. You're shoving 6s and 7s, and what more do you need to do? Catch a 10 and call an 8 with a 10? I mean, it's one of those things.
Well, that's what I remember. Yeah. Big Show is like, just throwing 7s and 8s back in that one. How are you catching them on that one?
Carolina rig. All Carolina rig with me and Aaron. Remember Aaron and I were famously were on that point?
No, that's right. Yeah.
And Benny Matsubu got me on that.
That was still.
Those were the only fish you could actually land because you were offshore fishing a foundation out there at Falcon Lake. So they couldn't get you in the trees. Everybody was hooking giants at Falcon, but they were all flipping and losing and breaking them off in the salt cedar and everything. Remember that?
I know, but that was like the ultimate combat fishing of all times, flipping those trees on Falcon Lake. Because I'll never forget. I mean, here's like a 10-foot tall tree, 6 foot wide, and you flip a 1-ounce jig in the middle of it, 65-pound break, and the whole freaking tree shakes. You're like, oh shit. And then you're like, and the whole tree's like, you're just wrestling with them. It's like, oh, that was nuts.
Do you remember that?
That was fun. I remember I caught
6s and 7s and 8s and 9s, but because they were in the trees, they were getting their.
They were hard. Yeah, you
and me and Aaron and Benny Matsuba told me, he goes, hey, the offshore bite is happening. So where Paul Elias won, Mary Delgado caught a 10 off of Paul's spot, which was within sight of where I caught the 131 pounds. And Aaron and I were famously, Aaron was sitting there and he told me his fish had moved. I invited him in. They moved. I'm like, come here, Aaron. Because Aaron was way offshore and he wasn't getting bit. But where Paul was sitting, where I was sitting, that's where Mary caught her 10-pounder, where Paul won. And where I got third was within sight of each other. And then Aaron was way out there. And it was one of those things where, because we were offshore, those fish didn't have a chance. The fish you guys were fishing for in the stuff, man, you weren't going to get them out. You guys hooked over 100 pounds, but you weren't putting 100 pounds in the boat.
You couldn't. No, I'll remember though. It's like I caught in practice. I think it was like a 9, and he had a certain birthmark on it, but it was like and it was the last day of practice. I caught this big fish, and in the tree, and it's like, oh my god, that's a giant. But you don't ever expect to see that fish again. So I let it go. And I forget what day of the tournament. I think it was the first day of the tournament. I went back to the exact same tree, like a day later, whatever it was. I flipped into the exact same tree, exact same bait. And I caught that exact same fish again.
No way. Really? A 9 just in a tree?
Yeah. Just one tree by itself, same birthmark, everything. But I mean,
dude,
a day of 2 days. I mean, I caught him in practice, last day of practice, and I caught him on the first day of the tournament.
That's crazy. That's
on nuts. The same tree. I'm like, that's one mean son of a bitch right there.
That lake was they were so hot. I was convinced, we all made jokes about they were cracked out on Mexican cocaine, man. Those fish were all whacked out on Mexican coke. There was so much Mexican cocaine washing into the lake that these fish were like,
it's like that Cocaine Bear movie or something. Like, what's that?
Dude, I was throwing a chatterbait in practice, and they were bending the hooks of the chatterbait. You had to go to saltwater stuff because everything you had, when you'd hook them on a chatterbait, nothing would give because you're 50, 60-pound braid, and you'd hook them, and the hooks would straighten out, and the blades would be ripped off. And I'm like, you can't handle these fish. We just could not handle those fish.
Well, you just said about, it's funny, you just talked about bending a hook, and this is on my desk right here. So, this year I was down in Florida. Kim and I went down, visited some friends, hung out down there for a week in the Keys, and I went flats fishing. I want to catch permit. So this kid down there, that's trying to remember who, brain fart. Anyways, so I go permit fishing and throwing little live crabs, spinning rod, just casting them, man. And I hook, a few that day. Then you let them run, just never got a hook in them, circle hooks and all that. The end of the day, man, there's 3 big permit, and I cast out there the crab. That son of a bitch got it, man. I let him run with it. And I'm like, reel it in. I'm like, son of a bitch, I missed it. And then I'm like, I don't even see that. Where is that?
Where is it? Pull it back a little bit. Bring it so closer to your face. Oh my gosh.
That hook right there.
Yeah.
His crushers smashed the hook.
He bit the hook down.
I'm like, bullshit.
What was that? A permit?
Yeah.
A permit?
He crushed the hook. A permit. So when he ate it, his crushers crushed the hook and bent it down.
God.
I'm like,
dude, that's crazy. I have never seen that.
That freaked me out. I'm like, I've never seen it either, but I'm apparently.
Dude, could you imagine
they got some strong ass crushers.
Like if you had your finger in there and it bit down on you when you caught it, I mean, if it can bend a hook, it can tear your finger up, bro.
I would imagine, yeah, because they crabs and snails and shit down there, and they crush it. But I was like, that was literally the last bite I had. I'm like, it wasn't meant to be because but I've never seen a hook of fish.
I've never seen that in my entire life. I've never seen.
I've bent them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've bent, hooks out on fish, tuna and marlin and bass or whatever, but I've never had one crush the hook.
Hey, are you guys fishing a lot now? Like fun fishing? You and Kimmy going fishing, or are you doing a lot more? Like you said, you're going halibut fishing after this. You're going to go fun fishing for halibut in Clear Lake after the podcast is over today?
Correct. Yeah. So, but this is like kind of like the first chance I've had to do any fun fishing. Retirement, I have been still so busy. I mean, working on the, Reese fishing brand and getting that going. And we've got a new series of rods that I'm waiting for the samples to be finished and getting dealer programs set up and working on the big bass event and, everything else sponsor world. So I've been busy as shit. And so this is like the first time I'm taking a few days. I'm going to go with Roy Gray.
Oh, good old Roy Gray.
Smallest Bay.
Oh, man, tell him I said hi.
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah. Going to go catch, fish some halibut.
Nice.
And then I'm going to go up to Clear Lake for 2 days. And I heard there's I fished for a couple hours up there the other day with Kim. We were doing some site locations for the event. And so we caught a few fish, just stayed up in the north end, a couple nights. I caught like a 6 and a couple 5s and, a few small ones, but it wasn't really good. But I heard there's a pretty decent, like deep diving crankbait bite down in the south end of the lake. So I'm going to go rig up some big dredgers, what I really want to go, I'm going to go throw that SKT Magnum, the giant Lucky Craft deep diver. It runs about 25 feet.
Oh yeah.
This is the time of year you start catching big ones on that thing. And so just
8-foot
glass rod and just.
Oh man, I am jealous. Well,
that's the plan.
Before we go, I have one thing. I guess you may have already thrown one out there. The one that got away. I have a special segment. It's called The One That Got Away. It can be a boat. I mean, it can be a tournament. It could be a fish. It could be a sponsor. It could be anything. But Skeet Reese, what's your one that got away?
The memory still haunts him. He lost by 2 ounces.
Ooh, wow.
Hate to put you on the spot, but it's just a fun segment on the show. And sometimes it's just a fish. Sometimes it's a tournament. The John Cruz one was pretty darn close.
I mean, that was a painful one. I think, and not that I had any control over it, but I think the most impactful for me was, it was 2011, 10, 11. I had actually won the regular season points title on the Elite Series.
Yeah.
So I'd won Angler of the Year. And then the next 2 years, I actually won the points, I think 2 years after. So regular season's over. I won the points, but then they created the postseason playoff stuff.
Oh.
And
I remember that.
That was like made for, it's like what they did in NASCAR. And Kevin wound up winning the Angler of the Year title in those 2 years they had that. Even though and that was a year that I won 2, finished second twice, I finished 5th twice. I mean, I had, that stupid, crazy season, and I didn't win Angler of the Year. So those are the 2 most painful years and that's they got criticized so bad for it because of what happened to me that they got rid of that postseason shootout.
Really?
So that's where I was like that. Yeah, that's the one thing that like that. I mean, that's like trauma to me because I fished my heart out, fished my ass off. So theoretically, I won 3 Angler of the Year titles within a 3 or 4 year span, but I only got recognized for one of them because Kevin. And it wasn't Kevin's fault. Kevin
No.
was just.
Wow.
He
It was the
was
format
playing
change.
within the platform that was given.
Yeah, it was a format change. They changed the
Yeah.
format. So even though you went all around the country, caught them everywhere we went, you were catching them. So you're just crushing them everywhere. And then they cut it. Then all that gets stripped away because of a post.
Yeah, it started from 0.
That's ridiculous.
Yep, started from 0 and went into a postseason event. So
wow.
Yeah, those are the most painful. And not that it, would have changed my life, my career. No, but from a competitor standpoint, that's Angling of the Year to me is the ultimate title in fishing.
Yeah. And who would have known you could have gone back to back to back?
Transparency. That started and spiraled me down into my depression state that I went through, and because that was that created trauma within my life. It's like I put my heart and soul into this, and I got stripped of it because of some postseason event. So, but that's, I'm fine. It's, my life's turned out fine. My career's been fine. Everything's good. But that's always look at, I'd like to have those 2 other AOY titles.
Dude, that's a huge one. Those are huge. You would have been back to back to back AOY, and you proved it to everybody by successfully doing it up until they changed the format and took it away from you. But you literally legitimately could have been a 3-year-a-row AOY guy, with the exception of ESPN or whoever it was at that time, probably ESPN changing the format. I guess if they owned it at that time, I think they did.
I think that was Jerry. I don't know if that was Jerry or not. Yeah, I don't know who it was, but anyways. So
that's a crazy one.
It didn't happen. So.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm going to see you in June now. I can't. My daughter and I are coming to the big bass event, 2026 in June.
Hell yeah,
dude, we're coming for sure. It's summertime.
We'd love to have
my
you.
whole summer around that.
What's cool about that June, the end of June, is that on Clear Lake is that you can still catch them on beds. You can catch them on a frog. You can catch them flipping. You can catch them scoping a minnow. You can catch them on a football jig or a crankbait down south. There's so much going on in June. That's the cool is that everybody's got a chance to catch, a 10, 11, 12 pounder, shallow or deep, to win it. And that's what's going to be fun about June. So, dude, I would love to have you out. That'd be cool if you and Camber came and.
Oh, I'm gonna hook up the boat to the truck.
We'll have a glass of wine.
We're gonna drive out, visit my mom in California. Literally just take the boat with us and make a trip of it, and drive all the way from Texas to California to see my mom in Huntington, come up to Clear Lake. And summertime, that's perfect, dude. She's out of school, and I'm gonna say, honey, we're going for a road trip, and we're gonna fish skeets event. So we're gonna be there with friends, and it'll be a fun event. Dude, it'll just be fun. It'll just be a fun thing for Camber and I to do. I want her to have great life experiences. And she remembers, we came to Travis just to hang out with you guys. Remember the last time you saw her? Was you guys were fishing a Travis tournament, and I took her out of school just so we could come have dinner with you guys and hang out for the night with you guys at the house. You and Murray and TJ, little TJ and little Camber were running down to the shoreline and playing around, and we need to do this again. So maybe we can talk Murray into coming too, but this is going to be good.
That would be really cool. Get John and TJ to come out and fish it. That'd be badass.
Why not? Camber and me and TJ and John. Let's make this a family reunion. I think that it's a celebration of all of our. Dude, we got 30 years with each other. We all got this great life together, and our kids are getting older. Pretty soon TJ's gonna be off to college. Camber's gonna be gone. So, and they're real close in age, but I think, and you and Kimmy will be there. So count on us coming, and I appreciate the invite, bro.
That'd be awesome. So just, book it, put it on the calendar, and you're coming.
All right. Well, I know I got a million more things I want to talk to you about. We ran out of time. I know I took a bunch of your time. Thanks for coming on Fish Tales. I can't believe this is all immortalized. We just sat and shot the shit like we were on a telephone call, but I got to edit it now, and I might call you and Kimmy for some pictures. I'm going to need some pictures to add because all the YouTube, a lot of people watch it on YouTube if they're not Spotifying and streaming it. I know a lot of people love to listen to it in audio, but our numbers have been great. This has been a great show, and this will probably be one of the highest rated shows. So thank you for being a guest, Skeet. Man, it's so cool hanging out with you and catching up with you on this. Thanks, bro.
Freak, love it. Love you. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. And then, yeah, we'll do it again. And then we'll see you. We're going to see you next June for sure.
Fishtails has been brought to you by Livingston Lures. Learn more at livingstonlures.com. Fishtails is also supported by these fine sponsors: Trika Fishing, Mercury Outboards, and Camus Boat.